Hello. Are you feeling drab, unable to craft anything? Not sure how your gamma wave harmonizer connects to your flux capacitor? Are you still living in a wooden shack, forced to admire your neighbor's superior home and decor? Look at that beautiful brick building. Puts your shack to shame. And when did they get that dinosaur installed? Stick with me and you'll be living like Larry. With these tips, you'll find those pesky plans. We've even got a few gems that might surprise the veteran viewers. We'll go through the forest and ask Heap to see what you might have missed.
If I miss anything, let me know in the comments. Is that my voice? Give me a second.
Sorry, I had something stuck in my throat. Whew. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump on into it. I was planning on covering every region, but the video ended up too long, so we're going to divide it up, and we're just going to do the forest and ash heap, and we'll do the other regions in a later video. In one of the recent updates, they added a NPC vendor at this lumber mill that sells weapon paint plans that work for a variety of different weapons. And depending on when you started playing, this vendor might not have been here, so you probably missed it. It's a great idea to come pick up the plans if you don't already. I see them for sale in player vendors very often for thousands of caps. So pick them up here for just a couple hundred. They also have a backpack skin, so if you're just tired of the default look, this is a great way to mix it up. Probably the earliest backpack skin you can unlock.
I hope that's not offensive or something.
Next, we're talking about the events that pop up specifically in the forest region. They're going to drop a lot of leather armor mods and weapon mod plans. Mostly useful for early game. Later on, you're not going to be using these too much, but definitely do these events when you're on a new character so you can unlock these and help you progress a little quicker. When you get to the event, it'll have the instructions in the upper right corner. For this one, we do run into a treasure hunter MLE Miner, which is not related for this event. It's more of a map-wide event we'll talk about later on. So you just need to worry about the objectives for the specific event you're doing, and then you'll get the drops at the end and a pop-up message. It'll scroll on the screen. If you're looking for recipes for items like aid or food, you want to go to the event at Bolton Greens called Distinguished Guests. Those drop there nearly every time you're going to get a new recipe. Fallout 76 also has these proximity events that are going to happen at designated areas of the map. They only happen if there's a player nearby when it's scheduled to start, so you have to go physically to the location to see if it's going to start or not. So here we're going to go to this research center, which is actually going to start fertile soil. And once you complete this, it'll have the same loot that any other event on the map does in that region. It just won't pop up unless you're there. This is a great way to farm some of the rarer apparel items that drop from the forest region events, because they'll just pop every time you're in this area. If you server hop, the event will come up again. There's one other one at Morgantown Airport. It's the same kind of deal. You just go to the area and then the event will start once you're in range. Every region has train stations, and all the train stations have a vendor. So the vendor at each train station is going to be aligned to a different faction. There's usually a sign around the vendor which will let you know which faction it is. The forest will be mostly the responders, and they always sell a lot of plans. Now, some of these plans you can get from drops from events, but there's a specific one you're looking for that you've been hunting events for a while and you haven't gotten it yet. The vendor might be selling it, so stop in and see if you get lucky. If you saw my resource farming guide, link in the description, you already know a lot about workshops and how they can be great for resources. But when you go and claim them, you're usually going to get a plan. It's typically going to be a camp defense item like a barricade or something similar to that, maybe a water purifier. So early on, it's great to go ahead and take the workshops. It does start PvP. There's not usually a lot of competition for these, but another player can come and snipe you while you're doing this. So keep an eye out, but I don't think many people are going to bother you and they're just going to let you take the workshop. Just like completing an event, you're going to get the pop-up at the end. It'll go over your rewards. It'll have the plan listed there. And if you get the quest to defend or retake the workshop, it's the same thing with the same rewards. There are 3 different power plants on the map. One of them's in the forest region. There's another one in the Savage Divide, another one in the Mire we'll talk about later. All 3 of them have the proximity event that'll pop up when you get close. It's called Powering Up, name of power plant. This event can drop the plans for the generators that you use at your camp, so like large or fusion generators, but the events take a long time. So if you're coming here to do the event, I'd expect at least maybe 10 or 15 minutes to complete it. It gives you an hour. You can also just buy the plans from vendors, but this would be the cheapest way to get it. If you just want the plan for free and you want it as early as possible, these powering up events are where you get them from. And there's some other benefits to doing these events as well. If you watch the resource guide that goes over some of the side effects of this. You do always get fired at the end, so it's great knowing that your efforts were appreciated.
Contracts have been terminated. Your services are no longer required.
I don't know if you remember the MLE Miner from earlier, but that was part of this limited event that just happens to be going on right now. These always have fantastic rewards with great looking camp items, so make sure you do these events when they are going on. They don't come up very often, and you'll have to spend a lot of time waiting for them to roll around again. Biv is one of the best NPCs in the game. He's heavily slept on. I think a lot of people just don't know he's there or they forgot about him. But if you go to a train station and go to the frat party poster, it'll put you on a quest to go meet Biv. Definitely do that. I'm going to skip over the quest details so you don't get any spoilers. I'm just going to go straight to Biv. Biv unlocks the whole brewing mechanic, which you might not have noticed is in the game. Definitely go talk to him. He has a lot of dailies which will unlock different craftable brews, like different beers that have different effects, a lot of buffs. And it's just a fun quest line, so definitely check it out.
99 bottles of sand on the wall, 99 bottles of sand. Take one down, drink it right down. 84 bottles of shine on the wall.
So the Ash Heap doesn't have very many events that drop plans outside of the Nuka World area and the Nuka event. So we're just going to skip the events in general and go straight to Nuka World. There are a lot of themed events specifically in this park over here that drop event specific plans that go for your camp. So if you like the Nuka World aesthetic, definitely do the events over here. In the arcade, there are some games you can play and get tokens. You can also get tokens for completing the events. And you can turn those tokens in at the computers for different plans that don't drop from the event. So these are kind of unique that you would use the tokens for. There are some weapon plans over here, mostly for the Nuka paddle, which I haven't used much, but it's mostly a gag weapon. And there are some skins, I think, for the sledgehammer. But the majority of the events from the terminal here are all camp items. So I think there's some games you can get here, and just some decorative items that will go great with your camp. Definitely upgrade the look. Once you've learned them all, you're probably going to have a ton of extra tokens, and you can redeem it for these plans and then sell them in your player vendor to kind of swap out those tokens for caps. The train vendors in the Ash Heap are still aligned with the responders, at least for the most part. So a lot of the plans are going to be the same as what you found in the forest region. There might be one or two that you didn't see before, but it could just be because the inventory changes up, based on what server you're on. So definitely still come by and check these vendors out, but don't expect like a huge different selection for what you saw in the forest region. So the mining headquarters is where you're going to find a quest that gives you the full set of excavator armor plans and the plans for the power armor crafting frame. So there's a little sign out front of the headquarters which will give you the quest when you interact with it, but you will also find that sign in other places in the Ash Heap, so you'll probably have the quest all ready before you get here. But either way, you can come here, start the quest, and unlock those plans. The mining headquarters quest only gives you the plans for the actual power armor pieces for the excavator set. If you want the mod plans, you head over here to Camden Park, where there's a vendor that sells all of the mod plans. So you just run straight into the park entrance and turn left. There's a little food stand there that has vendor bot Chad, and Chad's going to hook you up with all of the excavator mod plans. So some of the popular ones are going to be the calibrated shocks that increase your carry weight capacity, and emergency protocols if you're a bloody build. Now I'm calling this a bonus because it's not plan related. But behind Chad, there's a little shack with a robot called the Boss, and there's some terminals in there that accept tokens that you can get from playing games in the Camden Park, and you get apparel that's unique to these terminals. So definitely go through here, see which ones you'd want, and you can play the games to get them. But you don't get very many tokens, so it does take a long time to get like the Mr. Fuzzy outfits at the end. Now, I mentioned that outside of the Nuka world, most of the events in the Ash Heap are not giving you that many plans. There is one exception, which is over here at the Pylon Ambush site. This is tied to a quest, but there's an event that pops up over here. If you see it pop up, anybody can join it. It's called Encrypted. And that event drops up plans for the Fixer Rifle, which is one of the best commando weapons in the game. So if you see this event pop up, definitely jump over to try to get that plan. These last two tips aren't tied to any specific region, so I call them multi-region plans. So the first one we're going to start off with is Graham, who has a list of unique and rare plans. There's plans that only he can sell, and there's plans that are just rare at other vendors that he will also sell. So normally he's just kind of exploring the world out and about. You can run into him kind of randomly, or you can look at his route to run into him on purpose. He also does have an event called Meat Week, which he'll spawn at a specific location for that, so you can find him then very easily. But you can find him year-round anywhere as long as it's on his route. This power plant just happens to be the beginning of his route, and this is a new server, which is why I found him here. So you might be thinking, oh Sheds, this is the forest region, why are we going back there? I thought this was multi-region. Well, at the bottling plant there's actually a hidden quest that takes you all over the map, and at the end of the quest you're going to unlock nuka-cola themed power armor paints. So this quest, I call it hidden because you don't actually get a quest log for it. You just get notes that are going to direct you from point A to point B to point C all the way around the map. And so you come back around to the forest region again, which is where you're going to find the actual paints. While you're going around the map, you're going to come across TNT dome keys. So those keys actually go to different domes here at this Black Mountain Ordnance facility. So once you get the key, you come back here, find the dome that matches the key, and once you go through the door, that's where you're going to find the plan. I already took it before I recorded this, so it's not here in the video, but I'm showing it here in the Pip-Boy for you. There's both the T51B Nuka-Cola Power Armor Paint and the X01 Quantum Nuka-Cola Power Armor Paint. These are both fantastic paints that have been in the game since launch. If they're adding them today, they'd definitely be in the Atomic Shop, maybe for a few thousand atoms. So I recommend the quest. It's a lot of fun. It brings you to a lot of unique spots on the map that you might not have gone to otherwise. Wow, this video actually took way longer than either of my other two videos. But YouTube said that you all wanted plans, so I hope that I delivered with this one. Let me know if you're interested in the other regions or not. I do have a lot of footage for those. I just couldn't include them in here just for runtime. So let me know if you want to see the other regions or the nuke event plans, or if you're interested in some other kind of content completely. Leave a note in the comments. So thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.